going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the best active noise cancelling headphones on the market right now and talking about some of the benefits and drawbacks of each model, ranging from the price of $300 to $550. These are very familiar names, and the options that I think you're going to be looking at if you're searching in the mid to high end range, from the new Nothing Headphones 1 to the Sony WH-1000XM6, the iconic Bose QuietComfort Ultra, and of course the Apple AirPods Max, which sits at the top of the price point. It has been a really interesting experiment to see which one is truly the best when it comes to each category, but also as a whole. I'm going to be giving away a Nothing headphone in this video, so just make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and leave a comment down below with your favorite feature as well as your Instagram username so we can contact a winner in a few weeks. And here are some of the winners from the past few episodes receiving their prizes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this right here is the Nothing Headphones 1, and I would say it is like the disruptor brand in this episode that is trying to challenge some of the best options in the market at a more affordable price point, but also taking more risk when it comes to design. It is one of the most beautiful ones in this episode, I would say. Has a very cool and unique look that has a transparency that shows all of the elements which you guys have seen from some of the other collections. It has a really good balance of plastic and metal with comfortable ear cups, but when you take a look at the actual front of it, it has a flat design and it's available in both a silver and white as well as a matte grayish black. I would say the comfort level is pretty nice. It is a bit on the heavier end in terms of its weight, lighter than the Apple AirPods Max, but heavier than some of the other options such as the Sonys and the Bose. But for the most part, the padding is very evenly distributed and a lot of its noise cancellation comes from its natural seal. When it comes to the actual driver technology, it is a 40mm driver that is made in partnership with KEF. But when it comes to the actual sound profile, it is a very balanced sound clarity. I would say they almost played it quite safe, where everything sounds very decent without a particular category really standing out. And I would say Nothing's approach is very natural and much in line with a reference headphone. It features 6 mics in total with a 4-mic ENC architecture for calls, a pretty good transparency mode considering how much natural seal is already integrated, and when it came to active noise cancellation, I was also pretty impressed with the price point considering the hardware, the sound quality, and more. When it comes to codec, it supports LDAC, AAC, SBC, but if you're someone looking to enjoy listening to music, has a knack for the design element and absolutely love it, I think you're getting a pretty good value here. One thing that I've also got to mention is that I love the physical dials and controls that are built in that just give it a much more intuitive feel instead of trying to blindly fiddle with the touch elements of your headphones. The battery life is up to 35 hours with active noise cancellation on. It is also the only headphone of this video that has an IP52 water and dust resistant rating, which means you don't have to worry about it out in the rain or if you sweat a lot. So the next one up is the Apple AirPods Max, and this is Apple's premium pair of headphones that are often associated with luxury. This is the most expensive pair of headphones in this video, coming at $550. Obviously, the design is minimal, it is beautiful, they are pretty comfortable, but definitely on the heavier side, which is a common complaint amongst a lot of people when it comes to something that you're supposed to wear for many hours on your ears and on your head, and you don't really want to feel the weight of it. The design is unique though. You have a suspended mesh finish along the top instead of foam, so it tries to alleviate some of that weight from the top of your head, and probably the most durable hinge design of all of the headphones in this video. It just feels rock solid. It has a small ball hinge, and of course you have that little crown on the top for the controls and the buttons. But as I place these on my ear, I find that it has a good balance of natural seal while not making you feel encapsulated or closed off from your surroundings. The mesh ear cups are also really comfortable compared to the traditional leather that we see on all of the other options, so these pair of headphones breathe very well. As for the sound, it has Apple-designed dynamic driver for high-fidelity audio, and that is a really big focus with Apple. Having the high-fidelity audio codec delivers a very clean and wide soundstage, and honestly, probably one of the most immersive experiences that I found, especially on Apple devices and Apple-supported content. Apple's spatial audio technology is really good. I love how it is able to just integrate in daily lifestyle. When it comes to the active noise cancellation, it features 9 microphones in total, and Apple's approach to noise cancellation is very natural. I really enjoy the way that these sound, and especially when it comes to movies and music, the head tracking and spatial audio gives you a very cinematic experience, but that really does come down to supported content, and it does also only support AAC codec. And the transparency mode is best in class. Again, very natural. It doesn't feel like it is coming through the microphone and amplified in a way. It feels like I can have an actual conversation with people through these pair of headphones and hear things as they are intended. But the battery life is just about 20 hours, which is on the lowest end in this episode compared to all the other headphones. So this right here is the Bose QuietComfort Ultra, and you could say that Bose has been making noise canceling headphones for the longest time. This feels like the lightest pair of headphones in this entire episode. And when it comes to the build, I would say it feels the most fragile of the bunch, even when it compared to the Sony WH-1000XM6s, but with the lightweight could mean the best comfort. And this definitely is able to deliver that. It has the most plush and lightweight ear cups, it floats on the ear, and when it comes to comfort, I think it is really similar to some of the previous options that Bose has launched, which seems to follow the same design and comfort scheme. I think for long flights and editing sessions, from a comfort standpoint, this is the one that I would pick. It features 35mm dynamic drivers, and with the Bose app, you can customize the sound to your own profile, but out of the box, it is a warm, smooth, and immersive sound that has a good level of soundstage, but it also puts you in your own zone while sounding quite close. I think that is something that I definitely noticed. The bass is an area where there is a good prominence as well. Definitely not the most, but as I said, you can go ahead and customize that. I think Bose sound a really good balance when it comes to soundstage, immersive experience, having enough of the highs and detailed ring out while still being a warm and balanced pair of headphones that suits a good profile for a lot of people out there. It features 10 microphones for ANC, and for many years, I would say Bose was up against Sony when it came to the best active noise canceling on any pair of headphones. This kind of sits up there as well. The noise cancellation is still quite natural, but a bit boosted as well, which is really important for flights when you're trying to get rid of a loud, consistent humming noise. But when it comes to having like people walking around and talking, it doesn't have as much of that latest technology that uses AI and is really able to separate some more unique scenarios. When it comes to codec, it supports both SBC, AAC, aptX, and it also features Bose immersive head tracking when it comes to its spatial technology, which works pretty well, but compared to 360 reality audio or Apple's spatial head tracking, it is probably the inferior option of the three. The battery life is 24 hours and the price point is $429. And so in this video, as you can tell, I've tried to find headphones that are in all different price points within the same window of range though, just to see what features are getting and which one is the best for you. So on the topic of audio, something that is really important is hearing protection. And this right here is the Loop earplugs. When I first heard about these on Instagram and came across them, I thought they were really interesting. And as I started to check them out, a lot of friends actually mentioned that they had used them before and also seen them out and about. And so I had to go ahead and check them out for themselves. And I want to give a huge thanks to Loop for sponsoring this video. Here I have the entire lineup essentially. The Experience 2, the Engage 2, the Switch 2, the Quiet 2, and each one is built specifically for a different scenario depending on your type of use. And what Loop is all about is making a stylish and comfortable product that isn't intended to block out the noise from your enjoyment or listening, but instead filter it effectively and safely, whether you're at a loud concert, at a club, at a sporting event, working day to day, and need hearing protection in general. But it also makes a sleep product, which I think is really useful, especially when you're on flights. Taking a look at a few of them, this is the Experience 2, which also comes in an Experience 2 Plus model, and it's really good for live music and events, especially in scenarios where there is prolonged loudness. All the Loop earplugs come in a little case right here that you can bring around with you anywhere, fit it in your pocket, and as you take them out and put them in your ear, they fit very comfortably while also maintaining clear sound and speech for high sound quality in concerts and especially in acoustic scenarios. Say you're creating music and you need to have that accuracy. These are -17 decibel earplugs, and with the Plus model, it actually comes with 2 sets of Loop Mute, which gives you an additional -5 dB of extra protection, say you were right next to the speaker. Another great product from the lineup is the Loop Quiet 2. This is great for focus, travel, and sleep, and it provides about -24 decibels, and so it is really made for scenarios, say you're trying to nap in public, sleep on a plane, and want to reduce the hum, but not feel enclosed from putting a pair of headphones on that are noise canceling. And I found that this is really effective for flights, where in the past I might just put a pair of AirPods in, leave them on for the entire flight, and oftentimes I would just find that there would start to be some pain points. This is a product specifically made for that, and it has like this nice soft touch silicone to it, and it is also reusable and washable, just like all of their products. This is just a look at some of the offerings from the Loop earplugs lineup, so if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, I'm going to drop a link down below, and you can also use the code on screen for 20% off. And I feel like it's just a really applicable topic as we talk about sound, entertainment, and hearing, and focusing on an area that is often overlooked, but is starting to come to the forefront of long-term hearing protection. So this right here is the Sony WH-1000XM6. And for the last few generations, I feel it was always in the mix for the one to beat. And this is the latest generation of Sony's flagship active noise canceling headphone. And when it comes to features, it has great sound quality, great noise cancellation, really good mic technology, EQ control, and it also has spatial audio built in through Sony's own technology in conjunction with their great processing technology through all of their experience in music. But one complaint that I have off the bat is that the name is still a bit confusing for a lot of people in terms of knowing which model is which. But beyond that, when it comes to hardware, I think it is a very safe design. Definitely isn't the most compact and portable pair of headphones out there, a little bit bulkier in terms of its ear cup size, but it is very light, made out of very soft material as well, and has a really good natural seal. But to some degree, I will say a metal construction throughout is one that I do often prefer when it comes to peace of mind and durability. And even though the hinges are metal, the rest of it is still relatively bendable. And even though there isn't any durability issues that I have heard reported in the past, I just feel like it may not scream as much of premium compared to some of the other options. It features 30mm dynamic drivers, and I've got to say, when it comes to sound quality, it is not only very natural, but at the same time adjustable, one that you're able to take advantage of Sony's bass technology, which is one of the best. And so if you want a lot of great character in your music, I think this headphone does a good job of being able to represent that while also having a really nice soundstage. The sound itself is very dynamic, and I would say from my experience with the XM6 as well as the XM5 and the XM4, the marginal changes in terms of sound quality may not be significant between each generation, especially if you're coming from the XM5, but the latest processing technology is able to improve not only the sound processing slightly, the spatial elements, but specifically active noise cancellation and taking it to the next level. When it comes to the microphone setup, it features 12 microphones in total for ANC, 6 beamforming microphones for voice, and when it came to active noise cancellation, This is really tough to beat. It is able to block out all of your exterior sounds to a pretty insane degree, whether you're in a plane, out in a subway, hearing cross dialogue of other people, which I always found was sort of an underrated feature that I was waiting for headphones to have. So when it comes to the combination of sound quality and active noise cancellation, the XM6 is essentially as close as I've gotten to perfect. When it comes to transparency mode though, even though it worked very well, it might come across as a bit unnatural to some as it tries to project your exterior surroundings to you. It has various codec supports such as LDAC and LE audio, USB fast charging, and up to 30 hours of battery life with ANC, and it does operate mostly on touch controls, but you do have the option of using some of the buttons as well for power and noise cancellation and ambient modes. Let's talk real quick though about the cases. This right here is not exactly a case. It is like a protective shell for your headphones, which could make it somewhat portable considering its size, especially when you factor the full-fledged cases. But Apple's option right here is some will love it, some will hate it. The other case here is from Nothing. I would say the material for this does feel a little bit cheap. Even though it gets the job done, you have a compartment for your cables, a soft line interior, and the fact that it is nice and flat to be able to fit nicely. I just don't really like the material on the outside, but it is still pretty decent. Bose, on the other hand, has a very similar case to Beats, and I would say that this is the best case in this video because it has a good balance of portability and also some padding, cabling right here. And I mean, my criteria for cases is not that picky, but the zipper at least feels solid. It has a smooth pleather finish on the outside. And I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job. Sony, on the other hand, has a pretty solid case as well. It is just a little bit bigger, so I wouldn't say it's as easy to store, but I do like this little latch on the front, the finish on the outside, and I do like that they don't have a zipper all the way around. And aside from the Apple AirPods Max, it is the only one without a zipper. So now let's go ahead and talk about my experience and which one leads in each category. As I mentioned, the headphone one from Nothing comes in at a price point of $299. The next tier up is the Bose QuietComfort Ultra coming in at $429. The Sony WH-1000XM6 comes in at about $499, and the Apple AirPods Max comes in at $549. When it comes to the best build and design, I would say my favorite is the Nothing headphone. It has the perfect balance of premium materials, unique design, a great look, and at the same time has a balance element. When it comes to the most comfort though, I think the Bose QuietComforts are super comfortable. They're very light, and if I was like laying down on a flight, I can see why they provided Bose headphones on the Four Seasons private jet. When it comes to sound quality, I felt like there was one option that definitely stood out a little bit from the rest, but all of them sounded pretty good with a few that stood out for specific characteristics. When it comes to overall sound quality, the Sony WH-1000XM6 I think was the best all around. The Apple AirPods Max, on the other hand, had a very honest sound representation, but at the same time, well optimized with Apple's music and the right codec, but there isn't much customizability, and so that kind of hinders it from getting to that sound profile that you could really enjoy. On the other hand, this is where I think Nothing shows its price. When it came to sound, it was probably the flattest out of the four, but that isn't to say it sounded bad. It just wasn't as impressive compared to these options that have been able to establish themselves for quite a few years now. As for active noise cancellation, in everyday use and in day-to-day walk around and in office, all of these options did a great job, whereas the WH-1000XM6 was able to do the best job in eliminating outside noise in all scenarios. Whereas when it comes to transparency audio, I found that the AirPods Max was the best in that area, and as an AirPods user, I could see how that has been carried over to the AirPods Max. When it comes to spatial audio technology, all three of the headphones right here have a version of that. The AirPods Max spatial and head tracking only works if you're within the same ecosystem, whereas 360 reality audio is cross-compatible, and it has gotten pretty good over the years. Bose has their immersive audio with head tracking, and even though it is good and it does work, I think Sony and Apple are ahead in that category, whereas the Nothing headphones do not have any sort of spatial audio, being the budget option in this mid-high range. So in terms of which pair of headphones is the best one right here, I've got to say it is the Sony WH-1000XM6. It was known as the king in its previous generation, and even though I was a bit skeptical as to whether or not it is worth it in terms of upgrading to the new model, I found that through all of its features, its optimizations, its chipset, and its sound quality, it is impressive once again. And if I was looking for one pair of headphones that was able to do it all, this would be the one. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.